Hello, welcome to our weekly review. So some of these reviews have been done in the past week, but this might be the last revision for some of them, which will be listed in this particular revision session. So we'll be having the first one from Firstborn, this Shein Tech for client, then TerraVest from Special Design, and Chris from Fabulous Design. Then we have these from Dera School from Dera. So we actually going to point out the remaining, I think from the last revision, if you watch the last revision, you will notice there's a great change in the current project right now, and it's looking very sweet and interesting. First off, the background image was a kind of lady wearing a VR, but now we are having a kind of uniform image for a woman doing whatever she's doing in the PC. It could be copywriting, it could be web design, it could be anything, instead of just having it centered on only visual reality. So we have the menu now aligned by the left side. When we hover on it, we have this drop down. But I want to point a correction there very quickly. So let's get into let's check triple B. Okay. So while it loads, let's make a few more corrections from here. So the elements here are not center aligned. As you can see, the bottom padding is higher than the top padding, okay? So make sure the bottom padding is equal to the top padding. The same applies to this. As I can see, I think this issue is from the section or possibly from the logo when you are giving it a margin minus. So back to this place, when you hover on this, you see that this particular content comes down a little. If possible, you can make this point from the beginning part of this layer, at the bottom part of this layer, so that it won't like clash. Like why I felt comfortable about this, allowing it like so, is because I have a very large header, and when you hover on this, you see we have enough space before we can get to that. But for this one, we don't have that particular case here. You see, the background is a different color, while your drop down is a different color, whereas this is the same color. It's only when you hover you see different color. So you can either do it like so, or you pull this down a little. Make sure you drop this particular drop down will go down, the positioning will go down and start from the bottom part, so that when people hover, it can easily get to that place. So that's one for that. And your button here is not having any reaction. I think I already taught you how to do this. We talked about this in the last revision. Why are you making the same mistake? When you hover on any button in your website, there should be a hover effect. Okay, there should be a hover effect that will make users know that this is clickable. How will I know this is clickable? So this is scrap. Okay, make adjustment to this. Their logo usually should lead to this thing. There should be a little bit padding top to the logo. I think as you can see from here, we have a little padding to the top for the logo, but this one is just clustered to the edge of that particular section, which doesn't make any sense. So make that corrections and you are good to go. For the hero section, everything is perfect from here. We don't need to talk about anything. Everything is perfect right from the font, the centering of the font, the breaking, and all of that. Everything works perfectly well. The body text, the primary and secondary button, very perfect. As primary button have a full color, secondary button have a kind of a gradient. I think there's a blur effect in this button, which makes a lot of sense. Okay, so this particular section, I think we need to work on this. I don't like this particular top layer. This particular top layer wouldn't make any sense. So for this, we might be going with a different style. Possibly you have a text, just a text at the top like this. Okay, give it a little more spacing till you get to understand and learn the trick on how to create that particular style. I understand what you're trying to do, but it wouldn't work that way. It doesn't look very nice. It's too distractive, as though it is a button on its own. So just increase the thickness of the font and make sure that the alphabets have spacing between each other, just as we have alphabet spacing. As you see, there is a lot of spacing, alphabet spacing from the one we have from here. So make those adjustments. Everything from here is perfect. I thank it. I love it. Everything from here is really, really perfect. Okay, we are good to go from here. Then this other one, the button, a little effects, but I don't really think that is very obvious. It's not obvious to me. Okay, so make this more obvious effect. Then this shouldn't be clustering to the edge of this particular section. Every text should stop here. Okay, at this line, that's where every text should stop, not clustering to the edge. And you did well with your padding top and padding bottom for all sections. I like the size you give to all sections. They are good, but you messed up here. There is no padding top equaling to the one we have above, and you're having a distinct padding top here, which makes this section look so awkward. So you have to apply all padding top, bottom to all sections. Make your padding consistent. Okay, this particular section, you can give it a little bit of border radius, so you can match with the rest of the effects you have from here. Like the button is having a border radius, this one is having a border radius, why this one having a pointed edge? That doesn't make any sense. And your font should actually reflect all over your website. Why are you using a different font here? Different fonts in this one, different? No, use the same font. The same font applies to everything in your website, except you got to a level where a client needs multiple fonts. But for now, use the same font for everything you are doing. For everything, use the same font. Reduce the size of this icon. The icon shouldn't be competing with the text itself. Reduce the size of the icon and remove the one that starts the text. There shouldn't be any icon starting the text. Okay? Make adjustment to that. Then I think that is okay. I think the speed should be reduced a little. The speed of this mark should be reduced a little. And we are good to go. This section is okay, just that the font here is debris. Okay, font here is debris. So make sure you use the same font as you use. And the button here, you break this. You don't know how to break top fonts. You don't know how to break text. Break text so that it shouldn't exceed the particular content that you have at the top. This body text, it is exceeding, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, make sure you break text and make them stay within that particular area. Let me show you an example from here. I don't know if I can find an example here. So you see this one. See, as I break the text, I didn't allow it, even though we have enough space in here, I didn't allow it flow to the end of this because I have space. No, compact your content. Okay. Scrolling down, we have this particular section using a different font also, debris. And also there should be a spacing between your content and the button. There should always be spacing between your content and your button. I didn't even notice that in the previous ones. There should be enough spacing. Enough spacing. Look at this. You see enough spacing here? Let me scroll up again. Let's find another button that have enough space. See? Enough spacing. So don't cluster your content. Give it enough spacing. Give it enough spacing. Coming down here, I think this is okay. Just that the font is not cool and the body text is clustered. It's starting too long. Okay? Body text here is too long. I think I have a section that can show justice to that. You see this section? You see it? You see how wide it is? Just the same thing as what you have here. But look at the difference. Just be checking on my own work so you can see the mistakes you are making. Don't just make section and submit to me next time, okay? When you make section, go and review you have to make research. Don't be a lazy designer. Talking to you, what's your name? Firstborn. Don't be a lazy designer. When you make a design concept, okay? Sorry I'm using that word, but you are being lazy. I've talked about this over and over again in this same project, and I don't like that. When you make a design, you go check other works from your predecessors that did their own in that same way you did yours. You have a section like this, and I've created a section like this. Why don't you go there and check out what makes up that section? Why don't you go there and check out what makes up that section? I told you to remove all stroke around the button, okay? Donate now. That will be donate now, so the button will be a little longer. Then remove the stroke here. You don't need that stroke. Once the effect is applying, just make it subtle, and it's okay. I don't like the hovering effect. It's not necessary. Just when the button hover, it shouldn't change immediately. Like this is snapping. I don't like it. It should change. I don't know if you did that in the other font. There's no effect in this one. Your buttons are not consistent at all. And I don't want this in your final submission. Make these corrections. Watch this video again. You didn't watch the video I sent to you carefully. I made many corrections which you repeated the mistake here, which makes me feel like you are lazy about making corrections. When I make a review for you, don't make me repeat those reviews. It makes me look as if you are not even paying attention to what I'm doing. What's the point of submitting this when you won't listen and watch what reviews I make? Look at this. I made a review on this, but look at what you did. Consider the works I have done and also consider the review I have made in the past. Go back, watch the past review I made about your project. Watch it carefully and make corrections accordingly. And I also told you not to add these strokes around here, but you added the strokes around. Listen to your, look at how you watch revisions. When you finish watching a revision, when you want to do the corrections, you have to watch them again, starting from the beginning, because I usually start from the hero section. When you start from the beginning, you watch a part and you make that correction. You pause it, you pause the video. When you come to the next section, you watch that part, you make that correction, you pause the video. That's how to make review, not to write it down on a piece of paper. You won't understand what I'm saying in most cases. I wouldn't want to see any of these mistakes again. If I see it, I will suspend you from reviewing your project for a very long period of time, because what I'm doing, you are not actually paying attention. So make those corrections and submit it back. You know what to do. You know where to submit it. And this body text also is a little bit larger. Just constrain it a little. Okay, it's a little bit larger. I wouldn't like it. And there's a shadow on the text here. Just remove those shadow. In this second text, I noticed that there's a shadow, but there's no shadow in this first one. So I'm adjust those. This button should have could be the same size with all your button could be the same size. Okay, don't mix buttons. Some buttons small, some buttons big. Unless you're having a primary and secondary button. Adjust your button, make sure they are large enough. You can add this button inside of this container, okay? Add it in the volunteer and also add it in the partner. Don't add it outside this one. Add it in the volunteer and also in the partner. In those two containers, just add it there. Then your fact section, I'm not really impressed with the fact section. The color of the background is too dull. Let's check on the fact section we have from here. Let's see if we have a fact section. See? Very good. So you can add an imagery at the left side, just instead of just adding just a fact in the middle. It's too boring. It's very boring, okay? Work on your content. Create a two container, add image at the left, image of what the brand is about, then add the fact at the right. Then make sure the fact follow the color style of the brand. As you can see, the color style of this brand, see how effective it is? Style your work very well. Your button is too bogus. See how tiny my button is? These are things you need to consider. I have many websites I have done many fact sections on. Go check them out and make your corrections. This part, I told you that this particular content should start at the top. It shouldn't be in the middle. This content should start at the top side, but you still leave it in the middle, which means you are not listening. You are practically not listening. Okay? You are practically not listening. And I understand that. I'll be waiting for you in the next one. Let me see what you are actually doing. So this particular size is taking a width, which I don't know if it is the same width with your header. I am seeing an inconsistency in your width in your sections. So let's assume that this width is 80%, okay? Scrolling down, this is 70% or 85%. This should be 80% too. The width of this section, 80%. The width of this section should also be 80%. The width of this section can be 80% too. Width of this section can be 80% too. It's already 80%. Width of this section can be as it is. 70% or 60% is okay because the contents here are small, okay? The width of the section should be small as it is, just as we have in that other section we have in this particular page. Width of the section should be 60% so that you can constrain the content in the middle. So if you're using 60 and 80%, make sure it's 60 and 80% I'm seeing. 60, 80, 60, 80. So if you are using, like, for instance, we are using 60 here, make sure your content are centered. The padding, the spacing at the right side is wider than the spacing at the left side. I noticed that. Maybe you don't notice it. Make sure your content are centered. This image should align to the edge so that I can justify the size we have from the left and right. Okay? Then this particular part, 60%. This one can be 80% while image is at the right. The color here, I don't like it. The ash color is too ash. It should be a little bit gray, not that ash. Your color is too ash, okay? So put an image at the left and then the other one at the right. This one can be 60%, but put this at the top side. Then this particular footer section can be 80%, and that is okay. The section at the bottom part here should also align with the 80% we have from here. Not this one 80, this one starting from 17. Doesn't make any sense. Make adjustment to this section at the bottom part. Watch this video very carefully. Watch it again and again. When I send a review, you need to watch it like 2-3 times before you start applying your corrections. Not just watch it once and start applying corrections. That's laziness. Watch it 2-3 times so that you understand exactly what I'm saying. You don't just understand what I'm saying by watching it once. You are still learning. You are still in the learning process. Okay? You need to watch reviews 2-3 times before you start applying your review, so you don't make the mistake I have corrected again. If you do it again like I warned, I will actually not take it lightly with you. So we move to the next, which is from special, and I like the effect here, the header, hero section and everything, but the font here, I'm not a fan of this font. I think this font, I forgot the name of this font, but I'm not really a fan of this font, but it's still okay if that's what the brand is looking for. So we are met with the hero section where we have I think this is a website to showcase a particular application and how it works. I think this is cool. This is good to go. And download the app here. So I told you the last time that there should be 2 buttons here. Download app for iOS and download app for Android OS. Okay? There should be 2 application icon or application button here leading them to the different application interface or shop to download this application. Not just download the app, download which app. Is it iOS or Android OS? So there should be two buttons here. You are going to fix that, one at the top and one at the bottom part. Make it easier for your clients, okay? Scrolling down, we get to this particular section. I think it's nice. I think this section can be broken into two. Increase the size a little and break it into two. Your heading text is okay. Increase the size a little, break it into two, and we are good to go. Yes, we have this button, iOS and Apple OS, but that particular icon, this one should also be leading to that. Let's reload. This button over here should also have those two icons, okay? Just as you did here, did a very nice work here. But the iOS version should also be the same color because two of them are primary buttons, okay? No App Store here, not the Play Store of the App Store is a secondary button. The both of them are primary button because the both of them are the same thing, just that they are in different operating system. You get it? So in cases like this should be brown and this should be brown. Both of them should have the same effects. So scrolling down, we have this particular section about the application and everything you need to know about the application is cool. And we have what clients say. This particular section should come as second to the last section. This section is wrong here, okay? You don't put the testimonial before you start putting the features of the application. That's rubbish. Just move this particular section beneath before the footer section, okay? And also add a frequently asked questions section, okay? So now this section now should be beneath, and this particular section should be where it is. But I think one platform doesn't for feature support. One platform doesn't for feature support. Why are you having the same section? The two sections are the same, and this button I don't like that it doesn't have any effect. Okay, you have been working with effect, and I wonder why you are making big mistakes. So this particular section should be off. I don't think it's necessary. I think this section is okay because it's trying to take quick check, log out wish list, easy registration. Let's check if this is here. Quick check, log out, easy. I think this section is talking about this section. And when you click on view all, I think it should lead you to a different page that shows all of images with all of these particular features. So remove this particular section, is not necessary. And I think you are going to create a section that this particular button is going to lead to. When someone click on it, I don't know, let's check. When someone click on it, they should be able to see all of the products just as we have here, but with visual effect or visual representation of what they are. You didn't do that. You didn't do that. Make sure you do that before you submit this again, okay? This view all should lead us to a page where we're going to see all of this. Let me show you an instance of what I mean. So if you go to Don Charles Real Estate, that's going to open in a couple of while we continue. So when we scroll down to this part, you're going to remove this particular section and make sure this button is well noticeable when you hover on it. Okay, apart from that, your footer is okay, just that the shadows you added in this particular search area is not necessary. Dump, remove those shadow. You only add shadow when you want to show contrast. There is no need to contrast here. Your button, your section, this container is already contrasted. This widget, the color is already contrasted with the background, so no need of adding shadows. You add shadows when you want to show more detailed contrast between your contents. So you see this particular section, we have here view all properties. We have few properties here. Then view all properties will now take you to a property page where you're going to see all available properties. You get the point? So this is what I want you to do. That's what I want you to do there. Make those corrections before you submit again. I wonder if you don't do that, next time you submit an assignment, I made this correction for you the last time, and you still submit this assignment. When next time you do it, I will suspend you from review for a very long period of time. This particular one now, remove this thing. Remove it. It's not necessary. Why will you have a content here and still have the same content here? Like, you don't know what you are doing or what, or you just intentionally leave it here for me to see. Why? What's the point? This is not necessary. Okay? Create a different section and then align these things here. Your work is not complete. Do not submit it. If your work is not complete next time, don't submit it. Don't submit to me an incomplete work again. When you are done with your work, check your work properly before you submit it. Okay? Check your work properly before you submit it. Your footer, I really love what you did here. It's very nice concept. Even the effect here makes a lot of sense. And I think you're following the same alignments with your header. I think everything is okay from here. You're good to go. I mean, make those corrections and then send the link back to the group. Then we are going back to, okay, this is the same website. Let's clear that. Chris by Fabulous. So you did very nice work in your hero section. You are doing well. Just that the body text here is too much. Reduce the body text. If possible, make sure you reduce it and make it start from here. Then break this particular line into two, if possible, and you are good to go. There shouldn't be too much of content here. The rest of the content can fall in other sections in the website. There's no effect on the hover on this particular menu. If I hover on this, there should be an effect to show me that this is clickable. Add an effect there. And your logo is not a link. Your logo must be a link to the website. So it should be a link leading you to the home page of the website. There is no link here. How I know is because there is no hand. There is also no link. It's not a link also. That's why we see the cursor, not a finger. There should be a finger like this, you see? Not something like this. So make those adjustments to this one and we are good to go. Service section is okay. But the bottom part, I don't like the padding. I wonder why you added this particular padding at the bottom. Remove those things, okay? Look at how this is done here. Look how this is done here. Or look at it, very simple like this. Or you check the ones we did in this other section. There are many sections that have that. So make those adjustments, remove that particular one at the content, at the bottom, and we are good to go. Add a little bit description under this. A little bit description, blood code. Okay, then add description. Why are you writing blood code? Like, can't you find content and fill in here? Just writing the same content, repeating the same content. See, listen and listen very carefully. Listen and listen very carefully. Don't submit dummy text to me next time. If you do next time, I will suspend you from reviews. Don't submit dummy text for me again. So if I'm your client, this is what you submit to me. You don't know you need to prepare your content for your client so that even if they see the content, they feel like you are actually very close to what they are expecting. So you want me as your client to start filling this information to you, for you. That's what you want. You can't even make research. You are very lazy. Don't try to be lazy. Try to work hard. That's how I do. If I finish my work for my clients, I make sure I fill in all those blanks. You do research. Do copywriting. Don't be too weak to fill in these gaps. And I think you might be using Lorem Ipsum in most places. If I see that in your work, I will ban you. Don't do that. Your button also should have a hover effect. When I hover on it, there should be an effect. There's no effect here. What shows me that this is a button? No, nothing. Nothing. You already know how to do effect and you are leaving it. That's another sign of laziness. Let me be counting it for you. This particular section looks very nice. It looks very nice. Just like you reduce the image size a little. Reduce the image size a little. It's too large for my screen. I wonder how it will look in other screens. So scrolling down here, this section is cool. This is my favorite section in everything you have done because of the imagery. The choice of images you choose are very interesting. This is the guy that is doing this, by the way. So these images are very clean and I like very nice images. You align your images very well. You carefully choose your images. I like that. So keep it up. Testimonial section, blue, I think it's still okay. But let's see what client says. It's still okay. The stroke around this testimonial is not necessary because the color already is contrasting, is separating from the color at the background. So make that adjustment and you are good to go. Your fact section is fair enough, but I'm not really impressed, but it's fair enough. Reduce the thickness of this font. It's too thick. Reduce the thickness, okay? And I think you are good to go. Reduce thickness and we are good to go. Get in touch. This is another beautiful section you did. Very, very clean section. But this button, yes, this button have an effect, at least, okay? That's good. And your footer, you did nice work. But I wonder why when I hover on it, the icons, just look what you did. Eh? You didn't do a nice work here. This is not a nice work, okay? So make adjustment to this. When you hover on it, there should be an effect, but I should be able to see the icon I'm hovering on. The phone number is okay. This is okay. This is okay. This is okay. Everything is okay. Yeah, we have menus. Yeah, the menus have effect. I love this. Okay, I love this. If you can apply this effect to the header, even not changing the color, it will make a lot of sense. Okay, I love what I'm seeing here. Then remove the stroke around this particular content. Remove the stroke around this particular container, and we are good to go. I think everything. This particular should be clickable. Should be a link. Okay, when somebody click it, they get to your main website or your page where you want them to visit. I think that's the thing you need to do. The correction you need to do here, and as you are done, we are good to go. Then finally is from Dera, you actually are not following us at all. So I will advise you to do something. Go back to just chat me. Let me send you the revision playlist. I think you are not following us at all. You are not following what we have been doing in the past. So you have to go back, watch all revisions and corrections I've made for other people. Pick one or two corrections you can pick from there, and then use and make your adjustment to your website. You see, your website have a lot of things that need to be changed. I don't need to start talking about them because there are too much for correction. There are too many stuff for correction. So go back, chat me right away after you're done seeing this. Chat me right away so that I will give you a guideline. Enroll your child should be a button. This doesn't even look like a button at all. So when you applying a button or placing a button, make sure it looks like a button. You just drag in a button icon and drop it there. Write anything and change the color. No, that's not how you do buttons. There are rules to buttons. Look at how bold a button should look like. You see it? See it? There should be padding, enough padding around it. I have taught you how to create buttons. I've taught you how to create, and you have watched the video. So go back and watch that video again. How to create a button. That's your number 1 video. Number 2 videos are the reviews I've made for other people. You have to watch it, then make your corrections according to that. I believe you are watching this one, you understand a little, but there are some things I didn't talk about which really affects you. So go back to those startup revision when they actually made their mistakes, and then pick 1 or 2 things from different corrections and then apply them in your design before submitting again. I wish you best of luck.